Hi everyone, welcome. Can you hear me in the back? Excellent, thank you so much. I'm so excited to see all of you here joining us this evening. Welcome to Green Apple Books on the Park. We're here in San Francisco or on Ringatushalone land. Tonight we're celebrating Tawanda Mulalu's collection, Please Make Me Pretty, I Don't Want to Die, alongside Richie Hofmann and Amy Shimshon-Santo. Let's give a hand for all of the people joining us this evening. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to have all three of these writers here, and I can already tell that it's going to be a good night. I have very brief business, and then we'll get to the fun part of the evening. First, please do check out our event calendar at greenapplebooks.com if you like events such as the one you're attending now. You might like what else we have going on in the future. I'll be very brief and tell you about just a couple of events we have coming up. Next Thursday, we're going to be hosting poets Beverly Birch and Robert Thomas. And then at the end of March, on March 31st, we're going to be hosting poets Monica Yoon and Solmaz Sharif. So I take a lot of pride in our poetry programming, so do check it out in the future, as well as the rest of our programming. But we do have exceptional poets coming through, as you can tell from this evening. So do check out our calendar. Masks are not required, but they are encouraged. So they're encouraged, but we also have refreshments, so it's kind of a mixed message. Yes. This is a good time to silence your cell phones. If you have not already, why be that guy? We can do this now. Thank you also for purchasing books from tonight's authors. We have books from all three of our authors available at the front register. And if you've been here before, you've heard me say that when you buy books from us, not only do you support us as an independent bookstore, but you also support the writers who put so much work into making these books. And then you get to take a book home, which might be the best part. So if you are able, we always appreciate you purchasing our authors' books tonight. And they'll sign them. If you ask politely, you can get a book signed. So that's great. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first reader. First, Richie Hofmann is the author of Second Empire and 100 Lovers, and his poetry has appeared recently in The New Yorker, the New York Review of Books, and the Yale Review. He teaches at Stanford University and lives right here in San Francisco. Please welcome Richie Hofmann.
Hello.
Hello.
Everyone take your seat now. Get comfy. Thank you, Car, for having us. I love Green Apple so much. I feel so much love here tonight. Everyone I met is really cute and nice, and I'm just really excited to be celebrating Tawanda's book and to be meeting Amy and, doing poetry in San Francisco on a, to us, somewhat chilly night. And to visitors, either really cold or pretty mild. So I'll just read 4 poems. I'll read 2 from my book, 100 Lovers, and then 2 poems from a new manuscript I'm working on. Beneath our skin. Blood just beneath our skin. I dreamt I was on a leash. He kept yanking back. In Mexico City, we saw an angry dog on a choke chain. Partially opened roses, alcohol over ice. While he held me, I woke to an obscene message from someone else. I hardly slept. I yawned through breakfast. I put on short shorts. I bought the cheapest roses and plunged them in water. Things that are rare. It is so easy to imagine your absence. Maybe it is night. We are still handsome. All the young are. It is so easy. Another thing to be beautiful. How gently the curtain falls back down and the room is dark again. The season of in-betweenities. My eyes heavy, my lips numb. Fingerprints on the unjacketed books. Inside the collars of the shirts in the open closet. An affluent night. You've touched everything in my small room. Thank you. I can't just do another 100 Lovers as the sequel, so I'm trying to think about childhood. But like in a dark and sexy way. This poem's called Lamb. I had a lamb I brought everywhere, who only had one eye. At the train stations, all the grown-ups would say, "Be mindful of your things, little boy. Someone will steal right out of your pocket or take the watch off your wrist." My dad had a beautiful overcoat. The lamb's white fur got smudged. My brother was a baby, and in the restaurants, the old waiters would pick him up and kiss him again and again on the cheek with their mustaches and tell my parents that they promised they would bring him back in a minute, but now they needed to show the chef. I don't remember when the eye became unglued, and who knows where it went. On long train rides, I remember falling asleep, putting my finger in the hole where it used to be. Once, he had to go in an overhead bin, and he was freezing when I kissed him again. And I'll end with this poem called Maze. The street lamps made the leaves black. The night is a place of initiation. Virgins get fed to it. Beaches and ruins. Skeletal buildings. The trees were young, but the marble was old. My jaw hurt. I was young, but my dream was old. A force was galloping toward me. I took a bus with locked windows to get here. The thing I looked for, I knew him by his beard, my skin touched by his mouth, saliva, cooked meat, red wine. Back home, the kids were cruel to me. When I was happy, they called me a faggot to puncture that happiness. I was holding a rope, walking down to the unlit beach. I could hear grown men yelping. I hid my glasses in a bathing suit pocket. The thing I was looking for, he was an animal who followed me. The lover is a faceless presence, but I saw his face. His watch face glowed. When he saw I was bleeding in my ugly sandals, he said, "You can go home. I won't hurt you." Thank you. Thanks.
Goodness gracious.
We have one more hand for Richie Hofmann. Devastated that you're moving to Chicago. Okay. Our next reader, I'm very excited, is joining us all the way from Los Angeles, California. I'm so excited that she's here. Dr. Amy Shimshon-Santo is a writer and educator who believes that creativity is a powerful tool for personal and social transformation. She's the author of Catastrophic Molting, Even the Milky Way is Undocumented, and Endless Bowls of Sky. She's edited 2 books amplifying community voices, et al., New Voices in Arts Management with Genevieve Kaplan, and Arts Equals Education. Please give a warm welcome to Amy Shimshon-Santo.
So when I first met Tawanda, we were in a rectangle, a series of rectangles, and I'm so right. After hanging out today, I could tell through the computer Zoom at Community of Writers that Tawanda was someone I really want to know, and poetically, it's just really great to be here, and I celebrate you. It's a great. I celebrate me, I celebrate everybody. Right, you too. And when at this gathering, Richie, Bob Haas said, poetry is putting your breath inside another person. And you just did that to me. So your breath is pretty much all up in here now. So thank you very much. So after hearing your work, I'm like, shit, I have to read a sexy poem as a transition, you know. I'm like, can a menopausal woman read a sexy fucking poem? Yes! So I have a poem for you. And its name is Good Fuck Poem, a definition. And this poem was written on a dare. It began as a text. A good fuck poem is a secret concoction of citrus and sage. Lavender, vetiver, temperature, night. It makes you want to take off all your clothes, your yesterdays, your tomorrows, lay them down, be at peace with your body. Each curve and line, from inside your ears to your outstretched toes. A good fuck poem walks you to the shower and scrubs your back. Warm water streams down your face across your eyelids, clumping the tips of your lashes, descending the bridge of your nose, the bend of your lips, your collarbones. Water pools beneath your feet, escaping down the drain in search of sea. A good fuck poem dries you off, massages oil into your back, your chest, your thighs and your calves, kisses your cheeks, whispers behind an ear, amber stanzas without rhyme, something about your hips, your stride, your mind. A good fuck poem is egalitarian. It delights in your existence, admires the tiniest curl growing with determination at the crook of your neck, the same way it does your spine, your latissimus dorsi, your gluteus maximus. It turns on with the sound of your voice, even if you are talking about vegetables, bicycles, or dragons, even if you are talking about shoes. It catalogs your sighs, moans, and quakes as verifiable data in its sound bank on the surface of its terabyte tongue. A good fuck poem is non-violent. It is curious. It takes note. There is time and no rush. The moon is bright. The morning can wait, and the smooth blue sheet stretching across the bed will never smell the same again. A good fuck poem doesn't discriminate against cock or pussy, breast or pectoral muscle, umbilicus or small of back. It seeks what you like, and it likes what it likes. The moral of the story agreed upon is pleasure. A good fuck poem writes itself on the skin. It doesn't know exactly where or what or how, but it knows you are the map, your back, your hands and fingers, your thighs. It speaks to you in honey, whispers oxygen prayers, and is loyal to your ankles. It wants your tongue on the elbow, the clit, the belly, the erection, the anus, the nipple, the backbone, the neck, between the thumb and index finger. It rubs against your habits of mind. It listens and it speaks. It summons and surrenders. It leads and it follows. It speaks in every language, a grammar made of kindness, shapeless and timeless, nothing and everything, the immortal surge of creation and demise. I don't know how to fuck without loving. This good fuck poem loves down to the marrow, counting blessings on its digits, because you are living and the poem is alive. Long ass fuck poem. So this book is a bunch of, it's like a sad, angry book, but Tawanda said it's okay to have a sad and angry book. And he was like, but I read such sad and angry and sad poems. I'm like, they're not as sad and angry as my poem. My poem is sad and angry than your poem. But I'm going to skip to the better-ish part at the end without any sad. Oh, but no, I have to read this first. Okay, I promised him I'd read this one. It's called Neném. This poem is half in Portuguese and half in English. And it's for my nephew, Neném. Neném, nickname for baby. My eldest nephew never left the body of a boy. Neném, nickname shared with the dona. Todos podem ser nenéns, meninos ou meninas, modernos ou velhinhas. I remember you in shorts, chapéu, chinelo, brincando wheelbarrow streets of Bonfim, maracujá, limão, pão, fazendo mandados para os adultos, changing long-necked empty bottles into cerveja, coca, guaraná. Our rowboat adventures, navegando the flat mar salgado, you balancing a wooden vessel filled with children, 2 bodies ahead, e 2 atrás, eu no meio para equilibrar. Crab traps, bigger than our arms or spindly legs. Lembro de você, before the loaf of bread, the bed, the bullet, silhouetted against the vast Atlantic, flipping upside down into the sky. Yeah. I just don't feel like reading any murderous poems tonight. It's too happy a day. So there's like a little mortuary behind, like there's little caskets under a lot of the poems at this point, but not tonight. Ceasefire, alto al fuego, cesar fogo. I awoke from sleep as if an earthquake shook the curve of our planet without sides. Deafening quiet, the sound of a ceasefire. Me desperté del sueño, como si un terremoto sacudiera la curva de nuestro planeta sin lados. Silencio ensordecedor, el sonido de un alto el fuego. Eu acordei do sono, como se um terremoto sacudir a curva do nosso planeta sem lados. Calma ensordecedor, o som de um cessar-fogo. I started to write in more of my languages because I just felt like I can't get where I want to go in English. I don't feel like we can get to a place in the world where I love the world to be in English. Not that English is anything, I love English, it's fantastic, but that like part of the problem is that there are things that are just not translatable. Like in Hebrew, my mother's like, oh yeah, ich, yud hey, that means God, but it also means being. I'm like, oh, that's like, there's nothing like that. Or one little letter, tzaddik, is like a person of wisdom. There's just all this knowledge in the language, and I've been doing a lot of work with writers who are just trying to bring it all in. Okay, this is a weird poem. This is a weird poem. But I think you like weird and strange.
I love weird and strange.
Okay, so this is my weird and strange poem. It is actually inspired by an Odu in Ifa tradition, and I come from an interfaith family. We're Jewish and Ifa, and this was an Odu that I was given to work with because I had been hiding and walking through the alleys, and I wasn't letting my voice be heard and my body be seen, and I was challenged to change that. And this is the poem that came. Catastrophic molting. I moisten my body with oil, remove all armaments and mementos, shave the head with a knife, step away from expectation, list-making, comparisons, and my very own personal death threats. Everything was taken from me but my doubt. Even that is finally becoming dust. Past the defense field of cactus flowers, the Primus gas stove, meet yourself in a doorway at midnight. Bring the book of songs from the back of your brain, written in the languages you weren't permitted to know. This is the story. In a hole in the ground, there is a stone above your solar plexus. Above that, a mat. Above that, an animal. Above that, a feather. Above that, a fly. I was told this to reject the ditch. Notice, the small buzzing insect is the only creature with enough courage to make the offering and turn shit into fertilizer. I set out. Inside my bundle was a pair of eyes, determined to read the sky for its sun. In between the space of knowing and not knowing is infinity. All I want to know now is how not to be caught. Seek harmony with knowing, find elation in the listening, and when it is my turn, because everything has one, I will blow tsunami wind to rattle clear the desks. I am writing and reading at the same time, rowing to create a rhythm, eyes set on the river, sunlight glittering as it does when it is seen. Turns out, there is no way to go nowhere. It's impossible to do nothing. Stepping off might actually be stepping in. Turning away might actually be turning toward. What would happen if there was no time, no hatchet, no erasure? What if we were a part of a whole that loved us without ceasing? Okay, this is my last poem because it's time for Tawanda. This poem, I wrote the first few stanzas and then I went to do some ritual and then I wrote the other stanzas. And my friend Patron Heneku has translated this into Ewe, and he understood it immediately. He's like, this is a poem that takes you to the shrine. So I don't know if everyone here will feel it, but that's a little background on the poem. Our foremothers greet the unborn. Write a woman, digging holes for ghosts, raging through the ruins. Write her, made of milk, the cells of her body creamy sweet. Write her, pounding earth, Move along the fracture's red-eyed saltwater cheeks. Write her, seeing beyond the burning, betrothed to a story that doesn't wish us dead. Write her, seated on a mat, communing with the divine, worlds resting on her lap. Write her wrist, copper bangled, brass bell clutched in her hand. Ringing, 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 ringing.
One more hand for Amy Shimshon-Santo. Appreciate it. I'm delighted to introduce our last reader for the evening, who's brought us together today. Tawanda Mulalu was born, Tawanda Mulalu was born in Gaborone, Botswana. He's the author of the chapbook Nearness, and his poems have appeared in many publications, including Paris Review, Brittle Paper, and Lowe. He is joining us from New York City, if you can believe it. And his collection, Please Make Me Pretty, I Don't Want to Die, is the reason we are here tonight. Please welcome Tawanda Mulalu.
Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for coming. There's a lot of my friends from college here tonight, and I'm pretty chuffed about that. A lot of y'all knew me when I was like busy sitting and brooding in my room in my dorm room in Amsterdam. So I'll read a few poems coming from that period and some stuff after. So this book was mostly written a little bit after I graduated during the pandemic and trying to get through a lot of the shit associated with that. So I'm going to start with a poem that was like right when a lot of us got kicked off of campus called Pokemon Blue, which is mostly about the stuffed animal Pokemon trio that I just had in the Adams dorm room for some reason that I thought were cute. Pokemon Blue. The virus vacated us. The campus filled with parents' cars, the plush ones I ordered off Amazon, and left them in my room, fresh and emptied of me, stuffed them into a donation box. You loved Squirtle most of all. His thin, beaky grin, like yours, mouthing that blue turtle as our child. You held him, pushed him off your crotch. The cleanest birth ever, you said. But his shell, there's no way you could birth a shell. Then I said my sister was sliced out red from my mother's guts. But Squirtle could swim. He swam between us while you slept. Our pillow, I watched him while watching you. Our other children nested on my drawer, Charmander, flame-tailed lizard, and Bulbasaur, corpse lilybud. I met them years ago, thumbs sticky on my sister's Game Boy, pixels instructing me to choose one to explore a new world with. I picked Squirtle, trained him to fight other creatures, captured and collected their bodies. Those entire continents of life for me to catch, each one with its own theme music. I wandered everywhere, listening. Hear music everywhere. Hear the campus yard sound the largest brass timpani captured from native land built by collected slaves. Hear my room swell with shepherd flutes as if my blackness still sleeps there. Left him. We left them there. He flew home to California. I sleep in a friend's basement. Midnight, I wake from a dream, rebirth a blue snail. So, Fortunately or unfortunately, I was raised Catholic, so fortunate in the sense that I've garnered a rich Christian poetic tradition, and so I've written a lot of prayer poems as a result of that, and the poem that I'm going to read is one of those. Prayer. Everything I like is like that man who first thought to take that picture of that starving black child waited for by that black vulture in that Sudan. I like what I write. I am hurting myself by liking things. My words may be taking pictures of myself starving me. I tell myself stories in order to clutch my throat. My throat is clutched. Please make me pretty, I don't want to die. I want to sleep now. I know I am holding this so tightly with sleep. I know I am screaming towards this with my sleeping. People are not asking of us because they are busy. I am not asking of us because I am simulating being busy. What should we ask of in a world whose only word is work? This is the best deal. This is the unasked for gift. If I saw a starving black child, my first thought would not be to take this picture of myself. Awake. Everyone is dying. There are such pretty words for this. So I used to be a third grade teacher assistant, and one of the things that I like to do is when I was not doing too well in the pandemic is like watch the kids playing on the playground and try to feel better about myself that way. I have like a seasonal affective disorder thing, so when I saw the leaves starting to change colors in Boston, I immediately thought of winter and got spooked. But seeing the kids made me feel a little bit better when I was working with them. This poem is a little bit about that. It's called Near It. Please, no longer the need to be harmed by colors. The streets in this continent change as easy as fingernails latching onto me when you breathe like this. Press hard. Your skin bruises easy as leaves. I watch leaves cold now while lonely cars glide past the playground. No matter this light that flees early, I allow myself this. I amass a nest of smaller rays, the birds do their final gathering, and I am gone again, returning for the rest of this day. Here, an old tree by this fence, an old tree by this fence, by this road. Gravel intermingles above soil with newer reds revealing themselves as leaving to beneath roots. Shall I press myself against brick, pretend, yes, that I was here, will here, beneath feet, beneath brick, beneath leaves above you, will hear all along the mass of days in which another dry conflagration falls into this box of tissues and sanitizer. Leaves, then my kids' hands, finally quiet in the classroom. Masks. I clean their hands and think again of their minds stumbling across mathematics. Imagine the soft marble of another planet where other minds do not stumble, cannot marvel, cannot I, but only sing. One song, and I am the last thought on earth. The fantasy of Schubert's four hands. I'm not dying. I'm not immediately dying. Or I do not know that I will. For the backache The doctors scan my heart and find my right ventricle might be thicker than it should be. The left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood to the body. I'm so close to safety, I could confirm it now. In my chest, a dream gone, breathing. I have 2 fake sonnets to read. Faking that they're not metered, doubly faking that there's no rhyme scheme. But you get 14 lines, shit's okay, right? The first one's called Second Sonnet, and then the second one's called Third Sonnet. There's no first sonnet because that one was really bad, so I didn't put it in the book. Second sonnet is about you. Not your father who mildly streams you down your years. I pretend in knowing of your skin, or beneath it the wells of yourself over the time it took you here. Where and who do I go with without myself? The long widths of you across a year of myself near you. Shuttered now by another mind, I am in need of me. You pan your lens towards another version of your old man. You have constructed him. I hear an aria again. I want to think strawberries. I think mulch. There is too much potential in this dying planet not to believe you are at the end of this. Yes, even I hear you long enough to hear another person and think she was as clever as you said you were at the start of this. Who is not the point? I meant this earth. Third sonnet is not about you. I am capable of drafting easements in my chest. Ease my mouth into even nearer music. I am as a crow in a basket of French fries. Sun slow the drip of me inside you. There was another set of persons who might have otherwise obliterated a small nation, but instead insisted on a walk, considered a dog, and moved on. The statue I'm eyeing in this country would have wanted me dead, or at the very least deeply unhappy. This is not another race poem, but often I look at us in cosplay radicalism. Can I lie to you quickly? I have never wanted another version of events. This is my best life. All my life is with you, even on Tuesday. If I was really clever, I would have changed Tuesday to Thursday to match it, but oh well. I'm going to end with 2 poems with the same title because I like repeated titles. They're both called aria, and both of them have epigraphs from Sylvia Plath. The epigraph of this aria poem is from Sylvia Plath's poem, Ariel. And the epigraph reads, "Nigger eye berries cast dark hooks." An aria's any song sympathy with Ophelia. An aria's any darkness. Then any light involved in darkness. Then an aria's like a pool of water. Then an aria's like a painting. Then an aria's like any other sound. When you're sleeping, you sound, and the sound sounds up Karen, and the sound is how I would like to paint Karen's sounds in my darkness. The sound is what I would like to be like the mirror that Karen sinks into her darkness. Mirrors of little darknesses, not unlike my mouth, how I try sounds but find water. I hope someday my mouth finds Karen Carpenter, even if my mouth is not a mirror, it is darkness. even if the mirror is where her skin eats itself like paintings. Your skin's not a painting. It doesn't eat itself. It doesn't eat my skin's darkness, and in darkness, your skin's also darkness. Your bed sheets make a sound, and the sound sounds like Karen sounds again. You wake and consider me. You pass me a bottle of water, and I drink it. Then take the bed sheets as water. Then take the air as water. And now I'm drinking all of you as a painting, which is when I hear horses, hear Sylvia. She's swallowing everything as paintings. In her darkness, there's a red eye rising as morning's first sound. Then the horse into that red eye is darkness. Then reading her horse into my black eyes is darkness. Then words are sometimes water. They're the flow of sound from each to the next, little sips then swallowing, then with them we paint each other, the darkest darkness. And I paint you. Hear horses. Hear you, Ophelia, Karen, Sylvia, still painting over all of us, and the darkness is painting. And the mirror is every little slipping sound in your room's darkness. And the sounds are everywhere like skin, like in this darkness, how mine is yours, like any other white girl's. An aria. So if it wasn't clear already, I was Sylvia Plath thing. And the epigraph for this poem is from her poem, Thalidomide, which goes like, "Oh half moon, half brain luminosity, Negro masked like a white." Aria. Also, actually, thank you so much for coming. By the way, I know I killed the mood a little bit, but thank you, Richie. Thank you, Amy, for reading with me. It's like a fucking dream come true. It's also a fucking dream come true to have all my friends from college here too, and also to be in a city that has actual sunlight for a bit. It's awesome. So, genuinely, it's been a blast. Anyways, aria. There's not enough light inside this poem to lie to you. All my poems are in whiteface, which makes me clean, bearable. Is my life viable? This poem is not mine. Every morning I carry it, more than this strain in my jaw. When I recite you, my memory does not recite me back. I call out for you, and my mother answers, "Please call us back." I am compared to my father. A moth falls from my lamp, choked by light, by glass. Choke me harder. There is pleasure inside this horizon bending. These legs sleeping in my bed, they vessel me. Peel him my taste of lobster beneath. You peer at me. I am peerless. The best of my skin you will witness. I'm all bodies like this body, yours to take only if you will have me dark enough, as a horse's eyes, like Barry's eye, rot black in your throat. And I am so pretty with the chance of my blood in the air, these clouds suffused with a warmth unseen until police draw real guns at me. Remember the boy with a name, with a toy gun in the park. Their imagination kills him. My mouth is a real gun. My ear is worn in your tongue. It, too, sang America. Poem, stay with me. Float with me. This white page peels a black boy in a park. There is no light inside him. Thank you.
You can continue your applause for Tawanda. Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been a total pleasure. One thing that you have to do, you have to finish the open bottles of wine that we have, because I can't use it again. So that is your job. We have books from all of our authors available at the front. So you can find them there, and you can come back here to have them sign them. If you ask, well, I'm assuming that's okay that you will sign. They will sign them. I just gotta make sure. We also have other books, so please do take a look around, make yourself comfortable, and we will see you next time.